Welcome to another great episode of Women in Real Estate.
Wait, I'm so confused. Are we live or are we not? Now I'm really confused.
There you go. It's set up.
Welcome to. Oh, we're not live. I'm gonna always remember that shit.
Oh my god.
Welcome to another great episode of Women in Real Estate, powered by Badass Agents, where we talk about real life, real women, and the challenges we face. If you're interested in applying in the brokerage, go to badassagents.com. If you want to know more about me, go to dothework.com. Follow, like, and share AZ & Associates on Facebook and Instagram. Home Away. How many of you guys have that app? I have that app on Home Away. I have that Home Away app on my phone. So I want to talk a little quick story here. Like, I love my stories just because they're so, a lot of people can connect to this. And before I introduce my guest. So I have Home Away app on my phone, and last summer we ended up renting a place out in California. And the Home Away app tells me that it had all these luxuries and beautiful view and a great rental place right by the beach. And I think we posted a whole video on this when we arrived because, well, Home Away kind of lied. It wasn't what we thought. But the pictures look great, and we show up, and they had no AC. And as a matter of fact, the car that we rented, when we pulled into the garage, we tried to shut the garage, and it didn't shut. The back door lock was broken, and it was just a hot mess. But the home inside was exactly the way the photos showed. It was beautiful. It was spacious. It was nice. It was literally right by the beach. But it forgot to tell the little small details that are huge when you're going to rent on the beach, and especially when it's humid. So the AC was completely gone, had no AC. And we pulled in. We had to park outside. So it was just a little bit of a nightmare. But overall, we made it work. No big deal. So what if you end up buying out of state? And you don't really know what to look for or who is giving you the truth about what the home looks like. How do you go based on that and seeing what the home actually looks like if you were present, or some of the knickknacks that you weren't expecting and you were told, you know, the simplicity of things that were there, but when you go and view the home, it's nothing to what you saw. So how do you make that happen into making that right choice? So today I want to introduce Lani.
Hi.
Welcome, Lani, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having
or joining me. It was a little off at the beginning because there was a lot of laughter in the studio way before. So if I was stuttering at the beginning, there was a reason for that. There's a lot going on in the studio way before we actually went live. But Lani, thank you for joining me, and I want to hear a little bit about about you, because you can relate to the story in regards to my Home Away, but it wasn't the Home Away app, or you have your homes listed.
Yeah, so I have them listed on homeaway.com, VRBO, Airbnb.com. I have a rental here in Scottsdale. We do Airbnb. But my first initial Airbnb was in Alaska when I was 21. So
Now, are you from
10 years
Alaska?
ago. I'm originally from Alaska. Yeah.
Wow.
Born
okay.
and raised. I moved
Born
here
and
when I
raised in
was
Alaska. What part of Alaska?
Soldotna Kenai Peninsula. Yeah, so right off the Kenai River. It's about 148 miles south of Anchorage. And I grew up fishing, hunting, all that good stuff.
You're that woman. Awesome.
I am,
so you know how to fish?
Yes.
What kind of fish?
King salmon, trout, silver salmon, dollies.
All the good stuff.
Yeah. Everything, halibut.
Oh, that's
Combat fishing.
All right. So
Yeah.
what made you move out to Arizona?
So I actually moved to Arizona for the first time 12 years ago. I lived in Yuma, actually. And it was a boy, you know, my ex-husband. We were together for 10 years, and he played football. And then we moved back to Alaska. You know, some tragedies happened to my family. And that was when we started the Airbnb by 21. And then moved back to Arizona a couple years later.
So you got your purchased your first at 21.
Yeah, built it. Yeah, from the ground up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you know that real estate was in the plan, or is it something that you just got into?
I always wanted to do real estate. You know, my mom was very successful in real estate in Hawaii back in the 70s and 80s, very successful, and then she became a president of a bank. It was always in my blood. You know, construction was in my background growing up. We built our first house from the ground up, you know, from packing the dirt to cutting 45-degree angles on every piece of trim and painting siding, you know what I mean?
Right.
Everything. So I've always been fascinated by it. Interior design, trends, you know, financing, everything.
Well, I want to get into that. One of the reasons why I told my HomeAway story, and I think HomeAway is great. I mean, I still use it, so
Yeah.
please don't take that in the negative way. It was just at this particular, you know,
Yeah.
rental was, and the owners of the rental everything was accommodating. They were very nice. As soon as we said, hey, yeah, we kind of got thrown off in this heat, and we have no AC, but everything was nice. So don't take me wrong in that story. But you do that.
I do.
Yeah, and so how do you come across, well, a little off, how do you have your clientele, because I know you have a lot of clientele that actually purchase your clientele comes from Alaska, right?
Yes.
So how
Yep.
do you connect that to make them feel comfortable on purchasing? Because this isn't a rental. And I told a rental story, but this isn't a rental. People are actually purchasing from you.
Yeah.
So how do you
I've actually- yeah.
make them feel comfortable in the purchase?
So, you know, it's a lot of referral based from people that I grew up with, but, you know, I do a lot of out of state buyers from New York, California, Oregon, Canada, Alaska, everywhere. And basically, it just starts with like a FaceTime interview.
Mhm.
We do Skype. And it's not just them interviewing me, but me interviewing them, you know, just making sure that we have that connection, that we can communicate well, that this is going to work. Because they have to trust me. And trusting me with $500,000 is a big deal, $250,000. So that's the beginning process. But I would say the main thing is just, you know, asking your clients a lot of questions. Be very, you know, don't be afraid to ask them questions. And the same thing with buyers, you know, ask your agents a lot of questions.
Right. And I'm sure you have the experience. I mean, being in the game since you were 21 in the rental, you still have the
Yeah.
rental out in Alaska, right?
No, I sold it.
You sold it.
Yeah.
So now you bought,
Cashed out.
and now you purchased one out here in
Yeah.
Scottsdale.
Yeah.
So that's awesome because now you know what it takes
Mhm.
and what people are looking for. And
Yeah.
you do put in there AC, no AC, every
Yes.
details.
Yes. Everything's very detailed. I promise we have AC.
Everything's
Everything
'cause
works.
Some of those rentals become nightmares. I'm not going to
Yeah.
lie. They're not. It's like when you
Yeah.
when you get an Uber driver, and they describe their vehicle, and it's supposed to be luxury,
Yeah.
and you're like, that's not luxury. That
Yeah.
just showed up.
You get in there and it smells like cigarettes.
Yeah,
Smoke
you're
in the
like,
car.
that's not luxury. It kind of reminds me of that, you know. So
Yeah.
it's not a bad experience,
Yeah.
but I think details definitely are important,
Yeah.
and to description actually what you're getting into.
Absolutely.
So it's huge.
Yeah.
So
with
going
rentals or with buying.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of they kind of go hand in hand.
So what are some of the questions that you do ask your out-of-state clients that are looking to purchase coming into Arizona?
I would say that a big thing is, and a lot of agents forget to ask this. One of my sayings for a long time has always been, I'm not selling homes, I'm selling a lifestyle, right? Because where you purchase a home really dictates the kind of lifestyle you're going to live. Do you want to be in good school districts? Do you want to be, you know, secluded by the mountains and hiking trails? Are you retired and you want to play golf all day long? Do you want to live in a high rise in the city, like a bachelor? What is it? So I ask these questions. I bombard my clients with these because a lot of the times they're afraid to ask me questions. I have it all the time. You know, I'm so sorry. I'm asking so many questions. I'm being so picky. And I'm like, no, like, please be picky. Ask questions. I
Right.
want to know what makes my job easier. 'cause-
When it's important too. I mean, for the
Yeah.
most part, if you're moving to Arizona, you pretty much know a little bit about Arizona, right? In some of the cities, or
Yes.
do you
Yeah.
have to start describing, like you said, some of the questions are important as to what kind of lifestyle do you
Yeah.
want to live?
And then you have to
Um,
research that for them. You know, you have to research the schools. You have to research the best hiking.
Right.
You know, where the best restaurants are and stuff. Not being born and raised here,
Right.
I have to get involved in a lot of community events and meet a lot of teachers and, you know, research everything.
And
'Cause
so
I
what
don't
are
have that advantage.
so what are some of the tips and advice you can give to those buyers out there that are wanting to make a change to move to Arizona, to ask their real estate agents on some of those questions? What are some questions that I think it's important for the buyers to ask, or some tips?
Some tips. So, yeah, basically it's just kind of well-rounded. Just ask lots of questions. Just don't be afraid to tell them what you like to do and your day-to-day activities and the kind of lifestyle you want to be in, basically. Because it's easy to say, you know, everybody wants a 4-bedroom house with the 2 bathrooms and gray walls and granite countertops, right?
Right.
That's easy to find. But finding what they want in the area they want with those elements
Right.
within that radius is where it gets a little bit tricky.
Okay.
So you really have to do your research for them.
What is like one of the major challenges that you face when they're coming out? Like one of the major challenges.
One of the major challenges. The ones that I face the most is people telling me that they want something and then they come out and they want something completely different. So we've got to start all over again.
Right. That's kind of what I'm looking for.
That's not fun.
Okay.
So
that's what I guess that's a response I'm looking for
Yeah.
because I know when I saw something, when you go and you get a rental, when you're going out of town, you kind of want to know what you're renting, right? But it looks different. So when you show up and everything's said and done, you're like, this is not what I wanted.
Right.
And to have that feeling of like, well, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
My deposit's made. I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
So have you ever run into that where it's just like, this is what you wanted.
Yeah,
this is what I showed you. This is what we Skyped.
Yeah.
We're stuck on this for months, and then you come out here and you don't like it.
Yeah.
What are some tips that you can give the buyer when it's not too late for them to take a step back? Because you don't want, this is a huge purchase.
Absolutely.
If they're not
Yeah.
comfortable, what are some options? I mean, what tips can you give for it, that time frame where it's not too late for them to step back?
Just step back. Well, I always say, you know, we put in that contingency offer. You got to book your flight. I know it's going to be expensive, but you got to book your flight because this is a big purchase. You got to get out here and make sure that you like it. But I also tell them, I'm doing research for you, but, you know, do the research yourself on the areas, on the HOA, on the schools, on the, you know what I mean? I'm in there taking videos, close-up photos, stuff like that for them, but that's as far as it goes. So before we get too far into the deal, that's a sacrifice they have to make too, is purchasing that last-minute plane ticket.
Which would make sense. I
Yeah.
mean, I definitely,
'Cause I'm
obviously, you can't-
definitely not going to close sight unseen.
right, and you can't do that with the rental. Obviously,
Yeah.
I wish I would have went down this. It's not a place for me. Let's get another
Yeah.
one.
Oh, yeah.
It's not that easy.
Yeah, that's a little more temporary.
that easy.
Yeah. So if you don't get what you want out of a rental, it's not permanent, you know, for the week, but
Right.
you're not purchasing it.
Lani, where are some sites, some social media sites that your clientele can reach you if they want to hear more about you, or at least, kind of get to know what, some questions or anything they may have in regards to your.
So social media, I have an Instagram listed by Lani. I have a website, LaniChappell.com. That's pretty easy, my name. And then I have a Facebook page, Lani Chappell Realtor.
So
Yeah,
there you go.
business
That's
page.
where you can find more about Lani. So Lani's asking some questions about you. So I want to know, how many kids do you have?
I have 3.
3 kiddos.
3
and you are a full-time real estate agent.
I am.
So how do you make it all happen, girlfriend? And yet your hair's so shiny. You're so beautiful. You don't look stressed out.
Well, maybe I don't look stressed out.
Yeah, maybe you don't, right?
I think,
How do you make it all happen, Lani?
You just do it. You just do. You don't really think about it. I think the more time that I were to spend, if I were to sit there and spend time analyzing it or, really dissecting it, I wouldn't. And I think that's the problem that a lot of people have, is they think too much. You just have to do it. I was stuck in a position, with 3 kids, a 10-month-old baby out of a divorce with no work experience within the last 7 years. Nowhere to go, no family in Arizona. So I just went for it.
And
with
again, I
real
don't know if I
estate-
asked you, what made you come out to Arizona again?
So my ex-husband, I moved out here. Yeah, he played football.
Oh, that's
at
right.
Western.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And you stayed.
We stayed for 2 years. Moved
And
back
then you
to
went back.
Alaska,
Okay.
Because my dad passed away, and then I always knew I wanted to come back. I loved it.
And did he stay out there and you came back?
No, we both came back together.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it was just something that you guys just enjoyed, Arizona.
Yeah. and
Based on his
we
career.
Still, yeah,
and then
we
you guys
still
stayed.
live 25 minutes apart, so it's easy for the kids to. Yeah. So
Okay.
we're both here.
So what are your hobbies when you have time alone away from the kids?
Oh gosh, real estate? No. I'm
I was
just
going to say, besides
I'm
real
just kidding.
estate.
No, I actually thoroughly enjoy interior design. If it weren't real estate, I would have 100% gone into interior design. I love putting things together, projects. I actually have programs and stuff that I play around with. My sister-in-law is an interior designer, so we talk about it a lot.
You have
But-
to give me her contact. I am
she's
not
amazing.
good at that. I try to hire a couple of interior designers, and I don't know, it's always missed appointments or just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But I am so bad at that. I'm like,
Yeah.
that couch is great, put it there. Like I'm horrible at
Just
that.
drop it, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll find myself going to like different furniture stores, and
Mm-hmm.
Home Goods is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I walk around and I'm like, I don't know what to buy. Nothing matches. And for some reason I'm drawn towards colors that just don't match my house. So I'm drawn towards black or
Yeah.
dark brown. And I'm just like, this is not, I don't
you
see
put it
it
together.
light and vibrant like most, like the magazines.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to put things together. It just doesn't work out that way.
Yeah.
So she does that for full time. She does that full time.
Yeah, she does it full time in Hawaii, but she'll be moving here.
Oh, I got to get some.
Yeah, she's been talking to a couple firms. So, but yeah, we chat all the time about.
So when
interior
you
design.
stage some of the homes that you list, do you do them yourself?
Yep. I have actually used my own furniture. My very first listing ever in Phoenix, I did use my own furniture and we staged it. I went in and it was funny because her husband, he walked in the house after work and he didn't know that we were doing that. We moved a lot of the furniture. He came in and he goes, I don't want to sell the house anymore.
I know. I was just about to say
no,
that.
No.
So the first home that we sold too, they kind of went in and they staged the whole thing, and I was like, I don't want to move. This
Yeah.
looks really nice. I don't want to move anymore.
Right?
Oh, that is funny.
Totally gives you a different perspective of the space.
So how long have you been an agent?
3 years.
3
Yeah.
years. And you've had a lot of experience under you. I mean, you've had a lot of sales. Your business is booming. It's doing phenomenal. And to be selling your clientele from out of state,
Yeah.
I mean, goes to tell how much you actually know about Arizona, being here in such short time.
Yeah.
So it's incredible. So what are some of the challenges that you faced in these years that you've been an agent?
I would say a lot of them actually is me not being raised here. I get that a lot from agents, from people that have been in the business for a long time, people that were born and raised here. Well, you don't know what you're saying. You only lived here for 7 years. But the thing is the market is always evolving. You know what I mean?
Right.
Things are always changing. So I always have to remind them, maybe you've lived here your whole life, but trends are constantly changing, homes are constantly changing, different areas, I always say the market is ever evolving. So
Right.
I don't necessarily think that me not being raised and born here.
I was going to say, I was born and raised here, and I got to tell you, it's just so huge.
It is. It
And
changes.
so many new developments are coming up.
Yeah.
That I'm just like, wow. I just love to drive. I'm always driving out to Chandler. I'm just like, I never saw those brand new homes being built. Like, there's so much
Yeah.
going on. And again, born and raised here, I don't think you'll ever,
Yeah.
get to truly.
Because nothing ever stays the same,
No,
right?
nothing ever stays
Yeah.
the same. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, is there any time in your real estate career that you went all in full time that you're just like, you know what? I don't think real estate's for me. Like, these are the challenges, and it's just got a little too hard for me. I don't think this is it. I think I'm going to step out of the game.
Yeah, there was actually, and I had some talks with AZ, a couple breakdowns in his office, crying, just totally ready to be done, give up. There's always those deals that go through and they fall out, or those clients that use you. And in the
Right.
beginning, you're a rookie, so you don't get the contract, you don't get that agency election signed, and they end up
Right.
going with someone else. It breaks you. You have to have a really thick skin to be in this industry. And there were times when I wanted to quit. I thought it was too hard. I thought this isn't for me. And
What did you do before real estate?
So I did medical coding and billing, and then I worked in a school district. But once I started having kids, I was a stay-at-home mom.
And so
So that
you went
was-
from that profession
I
to
went from working 3 jobs.
to none, staying home with the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and then going straight to sales.
Yeah. Well, I actually, after my divorce, I had no experience in the last 5 years, so I went to a bar.
I remember that.
And I was working
remember
like
we
6
spoke
days a
and you said,
week,
yeah.
And I got my license, and I remember AZ going, how are you ever going to go full in if you're just exhausted every day?
Yeah.
You're up till 3:30 in the morning working at a bar.
So what had you make that transition? Was it overnight, or did it take some time
Yeah.
to really like
It
get that
was.
wired in your brain?
Nope. The month of January, I decided.
You set a goal.
I did. I said
Okay.
I'm quitting on New Year's Eve, January. I quit January, New Year's Eve night at the bar, and it was really hard because I made $700 that night. And I just remember going, am I making the right choice? Am I doing this? But, with real estate, it's either you jump in with both feet or that's it. The part-time wasn't an option for me. I had 3 kids to support, and you can't just dip your toe in the water, you know?
Yeah, you had to
And
go all in.
you got to go all in. So I did. I quit.
And how was that the first year?
It was great. I had my first sale closing the end of January, my second listing, the one that I staged, and then my third transaction was $500,000 in Tucson.
Wow. So you just
Yeah.
went, if
I
you
just-
wouldn't have made that move, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what would have happened?
Yep.
So the moment that you purchased at 21
Mm-hmm.
to now, how did that help you become that agent? How did you ever look back and say, okay, wait, I've been here before. I know how this works. You already had some knowledge when you
Yeah.
came in, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of agents will come in the game and they never purchased a home before.
Yeah.
You were
Exactly.
somewhat an investor, I guess, in a sense,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I had already bought 2 homes.
Yeah.
It's not a lot, but for a young girl,
But
it was quite
21,
a bit.
yeah.
But I also, I'm a reader, and like I said, I've always been fascinated. So
Right.
for me, it was, I'm going to learn the financing. I
Yeah.
actually wanted to take inspection classes, appraisal classes.
So you kept expanding your knowledge, just learning
so
more
I
and
can
more.
know every aspect
Right.
of real estate.
You fell in
So
love
when
with the
my-
game. So you're
Yeah.
able to bring all that back to your
And
clients.
I'm still learning so much every day.
So with all that said, what can your clients expect from you?
Just to have rounded knowledge about it all, just to be able to answer those questions. But and there are questions that I don't know, and if I don't know the answer, I'll tell them, I don't know, but I will find out. But my inspector always jokes around with me with digital home inspections, and he's always like, "Why do you even have me come here? Because you're pointing out stuff before I even find it." I'm like, "I'm sorry."
But you know your stuff.
Yeah.
So going with that, what would you tell new veterans coming into the industry, or just new agents who are ready to start, jumpstart their business, and they're just kind of exactly what you did. You were just kind of afraid of
Read.
going all in.
Yep.
What would you tell them? What's one of the greatest tips? What AZ gave you in the office when you said he had a conversation with you? What was the one thing you give back
Just
to those new
basically,
agents?
If you really want it, you got to go in with both feet. You got to jump in and just go all in. And it is hard the first couple months. It is really hard. It's very trying. It's mentally trying, physically, pretty much.
Right.
But if you stick with it, once the ball starts rolling, it keeps going.
And it gets easier.
And it does. It gets easier. I mean, you face new challenges,
Right.
but
Of course.
the real estate, yeah.
Yeah, of course, it's real estate. If you let it, it'll literally eat you and spit you out
Yep,
alive if you let it.
absolutely. Yeah.
Looking back, Lani, to now where you're at now, which is very successful, and I'm so proud of you and happy for you. So that's awesome to hear your story. What would you, looking back, like when you first started, what would you tell yourself?
Hang in there, girl.
Gets easier.
No, if I could have, I started real estate in September of 2015, but I didn't actually quit my job until January. I think that first 5 months, I just played a lot of mind games with myself, and I didn't, like I said, go in full force. So I wish I had started earlier and just not been scared.
It's very simple, right, to tell ourselves, just hang in there, keep going,
It
keep
is.
going.
But
But
you
if-
have responsibilities.
Right. And if you're not
bills.
surrounded by that environment to continue firing you up and telling you, yeah, keep going, and when you feel like the lowest of the low, like, is this for me?
Yep.
You have a whole army behind you telling you, yeah, go, here's
Yeah.
the ammo, keep going,
Yeah.
keep hunting, keep running. So it's awesome
Yeah.
to hear that. Going with that, what is the greatest value you learned you've gotten here at AZ & Associates?
So much. I've learned a lot. Motivation, inspiration is one, but
Now,
everybody knows that. But as far as-
Lani is one of our agents here at AZ & Associates. I don't know if I said that, but she is, and she's been with us for 3 years, and we are her first brokerage. So I want to hear a little bit about that. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I did. I don't know if I announced that, but going back,
Yeah.
what is that greatest value you learned here at AZ & Associates?
Obviously that times are going to get tough and you just have to keep pushing, but the greatest value I think I've actually learned is simplicity, as AZ always says. It's really the simple things that people don't want to do. It's the small steps that we don't want to take. We want to go straight for the gold or the shiny object, right?
Right.
But if you stick to the basics, you can actually do really well.
And there are
you
going to be
know,
those
and
tough moments.
Yeah, and those small deposits.
Right.
You know, put in those daily small deposits, and those are the things that we forget. We always want to jump to the big stuff, and
So what is
We
something that you're
definitely-
doing in regards to those deposits? What is one or two things that you're doing towards your business every single day?
daily marketing, emails, calls. Even if it's only 10 people per day, it's 10 people per day, and out of those 10 people, they're going to remember you or tell you, you know, tell someone else about you. And then of course keeping in touch with past clients.
Right.
And
Your marketing is actually, it's not just marketing, it's you on a personal level. I see a lot of your kids out there,
Yeah.
just your life in general. So
Yeah.
it's really nice to know who we're working with.
Yeah.
It's not strictly business. I have a lot of people who market me, and it's business. I'm like, I want to know more about you. I mean,
Yeah.
when you sell a home or you get into a home, it's personal, and
Yeah.
I want to know about you. So I love following you on Instagram and on Facebook, just because you show so much of your beautiful kids and just you in general.
so much me.
Right,
Way too
so much.
I'm just kidding.
Well, but it's nice to know who, especially working with somebody out of state, who I'm
Yeah.
working with. I get to know more about your lifestyle,
Yep.
and it's not a BS. It's
Yeah.
literally you.
Very transparent.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it's not like you're holding back and it's a dress and heels. It's like it's just you being you.
Yeah.
And so I want to know on a personal level. I mean, this is a home I'm getting into, and I've
Yeah.
never met you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to know that.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining me. But if more people out there want to know more about Lani, where can they reach you again, Lani?
So I have a Listed by Lani Instagram. LaniChappell.com is my website, and Lani Chappell Realtor on Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you, Lani.
Thank you.
If you are interested in joining AZ & Associates, go and apply at badassagents.com. If you want to know more about me, go to dothework.com. Follow, like, and share AZ & Associates on Facebook and Instagram. Again, if you're interested in joining and wanting to know more about AZ & Associates, go to badassagents.com and apply.